Hi everyone! In the 5 months or so that this channel has been alive and kicking, a few of you in the community have reached out and suggested that I give the Christian Louboutin Teint Fétiche Le Fluide foundation a go. Now, the question is, regardless of whether I'm wearing some red-soled shoes, not that I ever fitted my feet into them, does this foundation walk the walk for a mature and dry skin? Let's get into it. As I read about this foundation, I got what can only be described as a makeup tingle. In other words, there were lots of big ticks about this foundation. I mean, not the insect variety, obviously, because that would be really weird. I mean ticks as in a big tick, as in a big plus. So, for example, it talks about one's skin being still feeling hydrated after 24 hours of use because of the skin-loving ingredients. It's got a luminous matte finish, which is exactly what I'm looking for as part of my quest for a luminous matte foundation for a mature, dry skin. It talks about a light veil that brings breathable, buildable, perfectly flawless comfort and coverage. I mean, these are all really good things. It's also got no transfer, which is a big plus for me because all my favourite foundations have got no transfer. There's nothing worse than taking off your blouse or sort of jumper and having to deal with, residue. No one needs that. We've all got enough to do. So, take a look at this bottle if you haven't already. This foundation has been out for a few years, so I'm late-ish to the party, but even so, it's still worth a look. Look at that. Isn't that really, really lovely? It's a vegan formula, and as I said, it's got skin-loving ingredients that actively care for the skin, and it minimises the appearance of pores, plus it's made in Italy. 30ml, £62. I'm really excited. Look at this lid. Look how beautiful that is. This Art Deco lid. Actually, as I look at it, it's actually more ancient Egyptian, but oh, that's good. My Discovery documentary channel fetish is really coming into its own now, because I know that the Art Deco movement was influenced by ancient Egypt. Look at that, clever old Christian Louboutin. Anyway, I do think we need to give this a go. I am very, very excited. So, on to the demo. Now, the instructions say that we can use our fingers for a very light coverage or a lighter coverage, or a brush for a medium to full coverage. I'm going to use a brush today because firstly, I don't like using my fingers unless I have to, but also I like to give it a little go in my normal application. So let's see. Now, this luminous matte finish, in my opinion, should be kind of visible from the start. So let's see. All I've got underneath is, what do I have underneath today? I've got Charlotte Tilbury's Magic Cream, the actual Magic Cream, not the water cream. It is quite a hot day here, however, my skin has been very, very dry these days, so I'm back to my wintry skincare. Let's see. It smells lovely. It is perfumed. I don't know what it smells like. It's got a slight honeyed fragrance. It's not as fragranced as, say, Dior or Chanel or Guerlain or Givenchy, but there's definitely a fragrance there, so you need to know that if you really don't like fragrance. Having said that, as I'm applying it, it seems to me that the fragrance does dissipate. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it's not, I wouldn't say it's a matte foundation, but let's see how it behaves. So what I'll do is I'll give myself a good medium coverage, because that way it will compare to the other luminous matte foundations I've reviewed, because it'll be a fair fight, as it were. Oh, I do like this so far. I'm so glad it's not the Bunyan range of Louboutin, because I wanted it to be, I don't want to be disappointed. I really don't. I mean, in a way, that's, I have to watch that because I have to be impartial. I have to wear my impartial hat. But let's see. It's a beautiful finish looking at this. It really is. It's a really lovely finish. That's really lovely. Now, what I will say is I put one pump, I think it's basically 1.5 pumps. It does really spread. So that thing about being able to just use your fingertips, I can see that would work. As I said, I don't like using my fingertips, but I can see that you could get a lighter coverage with it. The other thing I should say, there's no SPF in this. I do like that. I'm slightly tired of SPFs in foundations because I don't see the point. But anyway, they do say while you've got up to 24 hours of sublimating breathable high coverage. So that's all good. And the other thing that they want to tell you is that it genuinely smooths and softens the complexion. Now, you know, I can't tell if it's softer. I mean, I can't. But what I can tell you is I think it feels, not so much I think, it does feel, it feels very hydrating. It hasn't got that quality which other luminous matte foundations that I have tried have, where you do feel it's slightly drying. I mean, I felt that even with the NARS. When I used it subsequently, it's got that quality that you just think, okay, over time, maybe this won't work as well on my skin. This feels, I mean, if they'd said it's for a dry skin, I'd believe them. You know, it's got, even though they do say it's for all skin types, it's got that moisturizing quality. It's not tacky, but you can still feel it's moist. Now, I'm not going to put any powder on because I want this to be, you know, I want to only test the foundation. You might want to put powder on if you're not comfortable with that, because it has got that slight hydrating feel. It's not sticky. I don't want to tell you it's sticky, but it does have that moisturized quality to it, which obviously as a dry person and as a mature skin, I really like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off and put the rest of my makeup on and we'll have a proper look. Okay, so I've put my makeup on, I've put bronzer and blusher on, I haven't put any powder at all on. I did put concealer on. Anything else? No, then the usual lipstick and eyeshadow. Let me bring you in a bit closer, because I think even though I didn't focus on my pores here, in other words, when I say focus, I didn't put extra foundation on there, I think it has blurred the old pores, which makes me very happy. So let me just bring you in so you can have a look and see what you think to this. So can you see here? I mean, my pores are big here, over here, and I think it has blurred them. I really do think it has done that. So that's a massive plus. Can you still, do you agree? There's still luminosity there. It's not flat, so it's doing that. But also, I should tell you, I didn't powder, as I said. And the bronzer, I just used this bronzer, and what did I use? Oh, blusher was the Kosas. It just went on really smoothly. It felt like I'd put powder on in terms of how beautifully everything blended. I didn't have to do very much. I just used this Refac, I can't remember. I'll put it up here. This is a particularly soft brush, but it was just really easy to blend. So, oh, and I put some yes, I did put some highlighter, some of the Prada No. 2 highlighter on, but it just blended really easily. But I just want to draw your attention to the pores here. And also I've got sort of large pores on my forehead. And again, they're just not as visible in my opinion. So let's see, I'll be able to do a wear test of a good few hours actually today. So let's see how it wears. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be fine. It's got all the signs of something that's going to wear really well. My skin feels so hydrated. It's not sticky, it just feels lovely. Really super comfortable. And the other thing that I just want to say that I like about it, it feels a bit more of a, I say this in inverted commas, dressy foundation. It's the thing that I think I would probably be keen to wear for a big evening or a big, full day. But it doesn't have that very made up quality to it. Of course you can see I'm wearing makeup, but it doesn't have that very masky look to me, which I just really like. And that there's still that luminosity, which I really do appreciate as a dry skin. And as I said, look, I'm very mature, so I mean, not obviously psychologically, but it's a very mature skin. So I think so far on an initial reading, it's doing exactly what I want my dream luminous matte foundation to do. But let's see if this little baby's going to let me down. I really hope not, because he's so beautiful. Look how lovely he is. Take another look at that beauty. Anyway, see you a bit later. So I'm back. It's just over 10 hours later, and I haven't exerted myself, but I have done the normal in and out of the car, getting a bit hot because it is quite warm here, although I'm not complaining because I really secretly love the heat, and I pretend to complain out of politeness. But anyway, and I have eaten and eaten and eaten. So I think it stood up really well. Now, I have had a really good look at this foundation with my 10x mirror, and here's my conclusion. My conclusion is, even though I thought I was putting on a medium coverage, I think this is a full coverage. I really do, because all my hyperpigmentation and so on has been completely covered. So I think, to be fair, while I did put it on, I didn't put a thin application. I put a normal application with a brush, but I would say it's more than a medium coverage. I'm not complaining, I'm just pointing out to you that that is the way the coverage worked for me, with almost 2 pumps, but not quite. I mean, I pumped 2, but I didn't use both, or the complete amount thing. But I have to say, it hasn't budged, and I'm quite pleased, because we're watching Chinatown tonight during supper, and I felt that with full makeup I could keep up with Faye Dunaway, because it feels a bit rude not to when someone's made an effort to look lovely in a film and then, you know, the audience isn't appropriately attired. So I was very pleased with that. Now, what I will say is, this says that it can give you up to 24 hours luminous coverage. You know, it's been a while, hasn't it? Now, obviously, as I've said before, for me and probably for most people, 24 hours, you know, seems a bit excessive. However, I feel my wear time is always going to be comfortably within that time period, and so it is just going to last. I mean, look, I didn't retouch my blusher or any. I mean, I haven't touched. The only thing I've retouched, actually, I should tell you, is my lips. I was wearing the Prada Hyper Matte in Amarena. I always want to say Macarena. Amarena. And then about an hour ago, as I was fiddling about sorting out my desk, my table here for tomorrow's filming, I realised that I had a sample pack of lipsticks that I was given when I bought the foundation. And I put on this shade, which is called Peach Cabaret. I have put it on with some Dior lip liner, which is the one I use very often, this is 329 Nude Blush, as it happens. But I do really like this lip colour. It's very, very comfortable. It is a matte, but they call it a creamy matte, and I do really like it. I've got a little bit left in the older sample, and I'll use it again tomorrow. And if it gets through the day without annoying me and performing properly, then I will buy it, because I really like this colour. And just so you know, that's the Prada Morena, and then this is the Peach Cabaret. So it's quite a big difference. I'm only pointing it out to you because that was the one that I put on, you know, as part of the makeup. But actually, this is really rather lovely, I think. But I will try it again tomorrow, and I will let you know, because and frankly, if you see me wearing it and I've bought it, then it was a success. But anyway, I just want to say that in terms of the makeup, it still feels super comfortable. It's not sticky, but you feel the hydration. That's what I would say, and I do really like it. Now, one of the last thing that I didn't tell you is, it does say that there is a no drying texture, and that's what I would say. It has stayed comfortable and hydrating. So overall, I'm absolutely delighted. I didn't want to be disappointed, and it absolutely hasn't disappointed. And in fact, I would say it's overperformed. It's actually better than I thought it was, because it's not in the least bit been drying in any way. I mean, I have blown my nose, it's hay fever season, and it is absolutely no transfer. So that's good as well, because, as I said, it's something I've come to expect from a foundation now. So I don't really notice it when a foundation isn't no transfer, just because I am a nose blower. It's just the way I'm made. Have you tried this? Let me know what you think, because I know there's the other balm foundation as well, isn't there? And have you tried that? Is that worth trying? One of my lovely subscribers said that she had both of them, and obviously uses them differently. So she's clearly a happy bunny with this brand and the two foundations. Anybody out there? Any other takers for the balm, or anybody else like this? And is there anything else in the Louboutin range that's actually worth buying, or is it just packaging? I mean, I do like the shade of this lipstick, and it does feel comfortable. Let's see how it lasts. But then when I looked it up, and I remember seeing them in Selfridges, because actually when I bought this in Selfridges, I went to buy the new lip liner and the new lipstick, and they didn't have it in stock. My aim was to have all three as part of this wear test. So you know, I haven't bought anything else apart from this, so I don't know. You know, the lipsticks look like the dramatic packaging is fun. Is it just the packaging, or are the products themselves actually worth it? Because obviously I can see that the packaging in and of itself is worth it because it's just tremendous fun. But please let me know down below. Let me know what you think of Louboutin. Do subscribe so that you don't miss any future videos, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.